Joining us tonight is an all-star panel, lawyer and commentator Caroline Di Russo and Adoni Media's Lisa Goddard. Gang, it's a very busy Tuesday, so let's jump straight into the national broadsheet tomorrow with the headline, Dark Days Downgrade on Growth. The OECD has downgraded Australia's economic outlook for next year, saying a darkening global backdrop was the price of war in Ukraine, as it predicted a deep recession in Europe if Russia's invasion triggered further severe fuel shortages. The Paris-based organisation expects Australia will avoid a recession next year, even if it forecasts that the Reserve Bank of Australia will raise official interest rates a further 1.25%, I should say, to peak at 3.6% next year. Well, Caro, I feel like the too long didn't read version of that splash tomorrow is that Matthias Cormann is pretty optimistic about our economic outlook.
Well, they're less optimistic, but they're still optimistic that we're not going to go into recession. And I guess on what's before them at the moment, that might be the position. What will be really interesting for Australia, I think, is how the US Federal Reserve, how hard they go in trying to put the boot into inflation, how high they lift their interest rates, and then obviously how far we follow. Because if we don't follow to some extent what happens in the US, well then, investors start to dump the Australian dollar in favour of trying to make some money elsewhere. So the Federal Reserve in the US does not seem to be too phased about putting their economy into recession, even though they keep talking about this unicorn soft landing. We've been talking about a soft landing here as well, but it seems like a pretty narrow path to get there. There's a whole bunch of other things that could happen between now and then as well.
Yeah, indeed. I think a Northern European winter is probably one thing that everyone is looking for at this point in time.